All right, welcome to another video from the chart reader. So today we are going to do energy and oil. I normally don't start here, but for obvious reasons, we're going to talk about CEI first and then go through the list as usual. I'm actually going to talk a little bit theory before I actually get into the technicals with CEI. So yeah, it'll be just a little bit different. And then it is the last one, but I'm going to just quickly flash it. TMC is a really important one to watch too, because again, I obviously repeat a number of things, and they're good if you've heard them a bunch, because hopefully that means they're sticking in, right? But once you lose a cluster and you lose an all-time low support, it could get really bad really quickly, and it's just really sad. I'm not going to say I love that stock, because in the end of the day, they're all just 3 or 4 letters to me, right? But yeah, it's sad when one of these does that bad, right? And it just didn't do what CEI could do. So all that said, again, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to look at the daily and the weekly. We're going to use our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I draw myself. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume. Okay, so really I'm going to talk about the last 3 days. And like I said, before I even get into the technicals, I'm just going to take a quick step back and really talk about this day. Okay, so on Friday 12/16, there was an announcement that there was going to be a reverse split. Okay, I rarely care about news, but when there's a split or a reverse split, my ears quickly perk up, okay? And a reverse split is bad. And because of that news, this actually was one of the biggest losers of the day. Okay? Now again, this is not anything against CEI, but again, if you ever see a reverse split, it's bad. You should know it's going to be bad. And for obvious reasons, it made it number, just like honestly maybe number 2 or 3 out of the worst that I think I saw on at least the Webull app that I use. Okay, so the real reason I bring that up is because I don't actually use it, but I know there is a real good interday trading. It's basically a bottom feeder trader, okay, where you go on yesterday's top 5, top 10 losers, and you try to swing yourself a quick 20%. It normally doesn't last too long. It's a little bit more of a 2-3 hour swing play than it is going to be a long lasting day thing, okay? That said, CEI took it to a different level. It really did. And again, we'll get to the technicals shortly, but this really is an example of, if you find yourself one of the top 5, top 10 losers from today, and you try to see what it does tomorrow, you'll be surprised. A lot of them end up doing really well. A 20, 30, 40% loser might bring you a plus 15 the next day, and somewhere in that plus 15, you might have gotten yourself a quick plus 30, plus 40, right? Again, CEI literally brought over 120 real quick. But again, we'll get into all that shortly, right? But that's really what happened here. This was a combination of reverse splits are really bad, bottom feeders seeing it, volume being king, which is my number 2 golden rule. And again, we'll talk about it, but it looks like a middle finger right there, right? Like it quickly shines. And then really an important game of confirmation, okay? So a lot of fancy words I said, hopefully none of those are new. And now I'm gonna actually get into the technicals. So again, this was just horrible, okay? And during the day, like I said, it was one of the biggest losers. After hours, it quickly ran, okay? And I mean, I'm not going to go into the minute and show it, right? But a lot of this happened after hours, because again, during market on Monday, it opened here and then it dropped here. One of the things I hate about CEI is it doesn't show me the 4 decimals here. On a couple other stocks, it'll show me 4. On this one, it shows me 2. This is a big reason why I put 0 real money in this. If you look right here, it actually says simulated buying power. There is 0 real money in this. The only reason that I'm using this is because of this right here, this stack that I call the 1, which is just a deeper version of this. I showed it a little bit in that golden rules thing, but this system's really good for the indicators, not good. If I had money in this stock, I need to know what all 4 decimals are, right? So that's just side note. But again, a lot of this jump from literally 6 cents to 12 cents happened after and pre-market, okay? There were definitely moments, because again, it started here. That's how the candles work. There were moments where it ran and it looked like it was also going to break the 50. There were definitely moments where it looked like it wasn't even going to hold the 20 in the morning, right? But then it basically came up here, okay? So I obviously have said a number of times, and I'm going to zoom out, right? We're zooming out all the way to not even August, right? Man, not even August, actually to back here to May, right? April, May, yep. So after May, after it falls out here, this 20 and 8 have been really, really hard to break. There was a little moment right there. You can see it kind of got to the 50. There was a moment to try this 20 and 8, and I've been saying it for a really long time. I would not touch this thing until it broke the 20 for obvious reasons, right? I had to zoom out all the way till May. We get a candle over the 20, and hey, that's all good, all right? But I'm here for sustained trading, right? I emphasize that, not stuttered that. I hope it sank in a little bit right there. But I needed confirmation. I needed the candle up here. At the very minimum, here, I'll take under the 50, but at least better than the previous candle. At the extreme worst, I'll take, 50% and call it right here. What I end up getting is a loss of the 20 and a loss of the 8. That's not good, right? Obviously, we're still doing better than this, don't get me wrong, but I needed to at least give me one of these, right? And ultimately what it just did show me is, hey, neither of these really held. And look, I'm going to come down here. When you get over 700 million volume this day, and then you drop all the way down here, I mean, you literally lose 6/7 of it, right? Let's call it 5/7, right? I don't know what that percent is, right? But it's definitely more than 50%, right? 50% would have been closer to here, right? So, hey, maybe you lose about 80% just kind of eyeballing it, right? But an 80% drop in volume, regardless if it's 700 million or it's 1 million and it drops to 20,000, right? I hope I did that math. I did that math poorly. Regardless, volume drops are killers. And when you give me a volume drop, you give me 2 losing lines, it just sets up bad. But really, all that happened here was a bottom feeder trade that went wild. And the real sad thing was, I read a lot of comments about look, this is the moment where a lot of people are making their money back and all that. I sincerely believe a lot of these people were trying to oh man, I don't even know what to say. But again, at this point, it still holds. Nothing is worth your money with this until we dominantly break the 20. We're not here for little. Look, I made no money on this trade. I'm not going to pretend I did, right? Am I sad I didn't? Yeah, a little bit, right? Who doesn't want to make some easy money in a day? Am I overall glad that I didn't buy at the open, that I didn't buy up here, that I didn't buy up here? Someone bought up here, right? Hey, it wasn't me, I'll tell you that. And now, you're sitting here and wondering what to do, right? And this is a dirty gap down. If this line is lost on what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. If Wednesday fall again, and I wish I had the 4th decimal, right? But if it goes below Thursday the 15th candle, it's a really good chance we're coming right back down to here, okay? Because ultimately, where are we? We're in all-time lows, right? I'm zooming out. We're very deep in all-time lows, actually, right? Because all-time lows was around 11. We're down at 8 even after that monster jump, right? So, and then remember, on the 30th, it will do the reverse split, and it's going to all come up here, right? I don't know exactly where it's going to go, right? Because this is going to move within the next 9 trading day or 9 calendar days, right? But don't let the reverse split surprise you. So overall, look, I'm still very hesitant. I get that there's a little upward curve going. Obviously, we know it was a single day. I think tomorrow matters a lot. Are we? Oh wait, am I looking at after? Yeah, this is regular hours. Okay, cool. Are we gonna bounce? And it looks like we actually didn't lose the 8, so that's not too bad actually. But we're either gonna bounce off the 8 and work our way back up, or again, if you lose this Thursday candle, there's a lot of reason to believe you're coming down. Overall, where are we compared to this one? It looks like, and again, we lost that actually, because that one, oops, sorry, hold on. That one was at 9 cents, right? Yeah, that's here. We actually did lose that, but at least we're over the 8. I'll take it. But again, that's basically everything I have on CEI. A little bit longer than I wanted to do, but yeah, obviously this was a hot stock over the last couple days, right? Okay, SCO. Look, I'm going to zoom out again really quickly. You know I don't like zooming out, but it's for a good reason, right? This 200. It has not been a thing since 2020, okay? It's been years since we've been over this purple line, okay? I talked about my attempts to, I wanted this to just keep rocketing it up, right? So I talked about my swing trade here. There was a moment where I wanted to go up, and it's funny because I told someone on a YouTube chat I really wouldn't touch this until it got over at least over the 8 with confirmation, right? And you can see why I said it again. I'm glad that we didn't lose the 200, but let's see what happens here, right? I'm still not going to touch this. Again, I need confirmation, right? So just because this day started over the 8 means nothing. We actually even closed under the 8 on this one. So this whole time, we never got over the 8, and we're still under the 8, right? Very easily can bounce off this 20. Realistic that we're going to bounce off this, right? Has to be in that 25 range, right? Yeah, all the way to 25.10 basically. So this would be hard to lose, but again, if it could get over 28.18, we'll call it, what's this number actually? 28.50. Let's just round to 28.50, right? I'm even going to go ahead and set an alert. Let's do that bad. 28.45. I'll set an alert right there. Again, an alert is not an immediate notification to buy. An alert is an immediate notification to look at the chart, right? Do your analysis, do your thing, right? And I'll tell you, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to come into the minute, I'm going to come into the hour, the 15 minute, I'm going to come into the hour, and then again, it's all going to start for me on the daily and the weekly, right? But as I'm getting ready to buy, I'm going to start kind of coming in here, right? But again, those are some deeper things that, hey, maybe I'll make a video on one of these days. But again, I wanted to ride the 200 break. We still haven't really lost the 200, but again, a lot is really going to ride here, and again, a lot's going to really ride up here, right? If we can get over this line, I'll be real happy, and that'll start with the bounce of the 20, right? So the weekly, look at this, right? The weekly is definitely getting rejected by the 50. It does look like we've got a golden cross wanting to happen, but I'll tell you, this is pretty insignificant for me because we've already kind of seen it start tightening up, right? So really the weekly is all going to be about the 50, right? And again, if you can get to that place where I set my alert, you'll be over the 50 on the weekly, which is a good place to be because look at that. And now look, by no means am I saying if it breaks the 50, it's going to automatically go to the 100. But look at that. Hopefully we just like literally fill most of that candle right there, and maybe we start to curse, but maybe we can get to the 40s, right? I would love it. I'd obviously adjust as the lines happen, right? But you got to set some expectations and then go from there, right? So again, it might seem like you're wasting some money. There's about 10%, give or take, between where we're at and where I'm saying might be better to go in. But hey, if I'm thinking I go here and it can go to 40, well, hey, why are you talking about $2 when we're talking about, a little less than 50%, right? So again, put things into perspective, right? And none of that is financial advice, obviously, right? We're just here to learn together. We looked at the weekly as well. Again, I'm not talking too much about these because look how tight the RSI has been. Look how tight the MACD has been. Both of them have been a little uptrendy, right? But neither has really broken like I like, right? I like it when the green line goes just wildly up and the red stays. Green goes wildly up and it stays. Give me those volume days. Give me those volume days, right? Nothing's really jumping out too hard. So that's really why I'm not talking about anything down there. Okay, so real quick, SCO still doesn't look horrible, right? So I'm in my head as I'm getting ready to go, I'm still imagining some choppiness in these oil stocks, right? Once SCO looks really bad, then I'll be confident here. So what happened here, right? Look, we've talked about the 200 a number of times. It's the last moving average for reasons, right? You either break it and fly or you lose it and die. That's the rhyme I've been looking for. Ooh! All right, I'm glad you were here for that. But yeah, honestly, it looks like it's losing the 200. There's a little bit of a curve trying to happen. Maybe the 61 line is doing something really good. I don't know from where. Oh yeah, I mean that's up for real support. Because again, it drops from there, right? So, oh no, that's down here. This is still up here. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean the line held it, but nonetheless, what am I looking at? We're under all the lines, not looking good. And we're actually in the negative on the MACD, not deep negative, but hey, again, I'm definitely seeing that downward, right? The opposite that we saw in SCA. And then just look at all that. Nothing but look, you can come all the way to here if you really want. Since the middle of November, it's been significantly more selling than buying, right? And the volume, again, pretty much since that exact same place, has gone from this line right here, it's almost exactly parallel to that, to roughly 50% of that gap, right? It went from 20 to like 10, right? To 20 to 15. Yeah, that makes sense because this is 10. 15 would be half. That was bad math, sorry. But it's lost 50% volume average over the last 50 days and nothing but selling, right? Give or take a couple sprinkles of buying. So OXY is in trouble. And again, once you lose the 200, it gets really bad, right? The weekly, oh my goodness, this cannot lose the 50. Okay, because I was zoomed out. You already saw it. That's how low it might go. It's the opposite of SCO, right? SCO, you break the 200. Look how high you got to the you're gonna fly, right? OXY, the exact opposite. You lose this, you're gonna drop all the way here, right? So again, that's why we look at the inverse first to kind of give us a perspective of, hey, what are we expecting here? And look, if OXY does bad, SCO will fly, right? And hey, you can use that as part of your trading strategy, right? So again, I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your money, but you hear my thoughts, right? None of this is financial advice. We all know that. Right now, though, what am I expecting? Honestly, I think I'm expecting $60. It's not still nothing crazy. Again, I think if this 8 starts to go a little more negative down, because again, we've seen it, right? All we're really going to do is trade with this 8 until it tells me it's ready. And again, we've seen it. The 20 ends up starting really far and then eventually will catch up. So we're still pretty far away from that, 820 catch-up point, right? So I'm still a little pessimistic, and ultimately getting over the 200 is going to be really difficult at this point because we did a bounce and a fail. You might get one rejection and a pop maybe, but yeah, I'm overall a little pessimistic here, and obviously I'm a little optimistic on SCO. Okay, INDO, look at this again, right? I've said once you lose the cluster right here, all you're going to do is ride the 8 down. You're going to wait for the 20 to come down. You're going to wait for the 50 to come down. And then, hey, the 100 is going to stay up here, right? We've literally seen this across so many stocks. And you can actually see it. It did it exactly as it did right here, right? Loses the cluster, horrible drop until they all catch up. You do a little hup. Right. Again, this is how stocks work, and this is why we love technical analysis. And it all goes with this fail of the 100, right? It just literally could never get over that 100. So a lot of reason to believe this is going a lot lower. And let's go to the weekly. Okay, we're not quite there to all-time lows, but you can see we're making new lines, right? And honestly, there's a lot of reason to believe this might come all the way down to 275, right? There's a few places it'll hit, but actually, and again, we've talked about it, green, 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 green up, red, 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 red down, right? Because we talk about the opposite. When you get all these reds, you hope to get this like green fill, right? So there's a lot of reason to believe this will be a real hard and real quick drop. So yeah, a lot of reason to be worried, actually. I'm going to be honest. I feel like I should delete a lot of these like upper lines and start making some lower lines here. Do I need to do that? Yeah, because look, you can actually see how well that this thing rode. I guess I'll keep it for one more week. But yeah, again, there's a lot of reason to believe it's coming here. I'll make at least one line roughly at the bottom of this guy. 350, then 275. Those are some pretty natural whole numbers, and we're at 5, so there's a lot of reason to believe there's still a 50% drop here on Indo. Be careful. I'm going to skip CEI because we started there, and then IMPP, the perfect start to go right behind it. And look, I'm telling you, these two are nearly identical all the time, right? So whenever there's an anomaly, I know there was a day on Indo. Yeah, these days were good, and I'm not gonna lie, I think they were actually like double digits. I know this, you can see it from the wick, right? There was moments where this one was a wild day. But hey, if Indo's doing well and IMPP is not, right? There's a lot of reason to believe the Indo thing was fake, and you shouldn't get fooled out and you wouldn't lose the next 3 days, right? So again, this is a big reason we do the sector review. You want to find the one that's the best in the group. You want to find the ones that move together so you can kind of use clues between them. There's a bunch of reasons why. Look, I don't have enough money to put a bunch of little bits of money into all of these. That would be silly. It's way better to pick 1 or 2 out of the we have 12 in this that we're doing, than like literally pick 6 or 7 and put you're spreading yourself too thin, right? So again, I'm not telling you what to do with your money. You know that. This is not financial advice, but just things like that. And again, I keep saying I'm going to make more knowledge videos, but life, right? But I'm hoping to do good things, I'm telling you. IMPP is going to be exact same to Indo, though, so not too much I need to talk about. I don't know if I talked about the weekly. I think I did. But yeah, look, IMPP is knocking on all-time lows doors. Let me draw this line right here, because that's a weekly support. Bam, for sure. IMPP is knocking on and look how, oh my gosh, have we lost this thing? We did lose that already, dang. This should be an easy drop. And again, you see it, right? This, man, I'm telling you, I'm not going to repeat myself because you already know what I'm going to say, right? I hope so. Horrible MACD. Look at that thing. Jesus. I don't think I've seen anything this hardcore. And oh man, there's so much bad here, all right? Again, you know I'm not a hater here. I would love to make money on IMPP. I'm telling you, I would love to make money on Indo. I'm telling you, there's no reason to just sit and hope, right? That's not the game we're playing here. HUSA. So we talked about this one, right? This one was really doing its best to just stay. Look how long it's been horizontal, right? But man, just devastating, right? And I remember talking about it. This was definitely on the lower side of the horizontal cluster. The goal was to at least get over this to bring it closer to like midway, right? And it tried, it really did. But again, it's really hard to get over one line, let alone 2, let alone 3, let alone 4, let alone a couple just really close to each other, let alone a bunch really close together, right? So you get the point. However, anything could have happened here, and I've seen the silliest things, right? So I do keep stressing that anything can happen. But yeah, there was a lot of reason to believe this was going to happen, and I sincerely hope you didn't, it didn't hurt you, right? But yeah, at this point, honestly, I'm kind of expecting, look, if we lose 350, we're coming here, right? I think these are 2 really good lines. So yeah, be careful, honestly, is all I'm saying. And look, today tried to be good. Today tried to be really good, actually. Tried to get over the 8, but it couldn't even close near 50%, right? So, and it actually started under the candle, so it was ready to go even lower. Glad it came up a little bit, but yeah, definitely not enough, right? And again, volume at one point was averaging nearly 1 million. Now we're barely averaging 500. Today was a 250 day, right? So, yeah, a lot of reason to be worried here. And again, not hating, but just being honest, right? So that was the last of the oil specifics. I know this one says energy, but this one does move with oil. So now we're going to move to UEC. So again, I'm waiting for here, right? This used to be 420. We moved it up to 423. I don't mind that because it makes my criteria a little better. 3 cents makes a difference, believe me, right? We've seen it. You can't get over by a penny, right? Let alone 3. So that said, hey, look, we're over the 8. I like that. Looking like the MACD is trying to curve, looking like the RSI is trying to curve, and actually 2 good days of volume. I'm not sure if there was some news here, but tomorrow I think will be really important. I'll be honest with you. I'm about to set an alert here. So I'm going to set it at, yeah, I like 56 actually. I think 56 is a good place. So I put it here, right? Oh, nice. Exactly same place. That's going to get me over this 50, over the actual 20 moving average. And yeah, let me know if it happens right there, right? I'll take that all the way up here. Maybe, right? Again, because this might be a resistance here, so it might not be spectacular. But hey, a 9% day is definitely worth seeing what happened there. So yeah, again, I also would definitely want to wait for confirmation. So hey, if confirmation puts us here, that's going to put me a little too close to these anyways. And at that point, I might just end up waiting till here, right? Nonetheless, I wanted it to break right here. It didn't do it. It never really got that close to a second attempt. Hey, maybe this will be the third attempt, right? So even if we get over the 200, which is the last moving average, I still am holding a little bit of weight on this 423 line just because of what we saw, right? So, but yeah, hey, might be a reason why this is turning around. It has me perked up. I'll say that. Okay, there's at least reason to see it technically, right? We are on the 100 on the weekly. Definitely was what looked like confirmation, right? We fall out of the cluster here, lose it that week, real bad week the week after. But hey, we're at least trying to stay maybe horizontal with this, right? So hopefully, again, get over this 350, get a little closer to the 8 on the weekly. But right now, still not a good weekly by any means, right? I wish we were above the cluster. That's at the very minimum, right? But yeah, like I said, this has me a little curious. I'll probably go on my phone and see if there's any news that justified this, but I'm at least liking the last couple days on the technicals for sure. MACD wants to come up. RSI wants to come up. Still a little tight though, so I'm not like jumping the gun here. This is what I do like though. That pretty much hit the average volume. That was above the average volume. Both days were buys, right? And look, the doji. Day after the doji matters a lot, and it at least opened above it, actually gapped up above it, right? And it started here, closed here. Big day the next day, right? So again, I always highlight that doji when I see it. UEC. So GEVO, one of my favorite stocks to say, I'll tell you that much. What are we seeing? We're seeing the horizontal cluster fail, right? So not too much good stuff to say here. We're actually a little closer to 30 minutes than I want to be. So look, I really wouldn't touch this thing. Even if it got over the 8, I think I still wouldn't touch it, right? I would want to buy over $2. Get me over the 20 moving average. And I'll be honest, I'm not setting an alert here because there's really nothing that's telling me I should. The really ugly MACD, really ugly RSI, not liking the last few days of volume. You know, if I'm wrong here, I'll find out the week after and I'll be okay with it, right? But yeah, nothing is, let me look at the weekly at least real quick. But GEVO is not jumping out. And look, not a great weekly, right? It's been a while since we've been over the 8 on the weekly and it looks like that thing's downtrending. So are we hitting all-time lows? No, but I might need to make some new lines soon. Damn. Okay. Shit, let's make some new lines. We should. Let me come to the weekly. Okay, so I'll put one right there. I'll put one. Damn, I'm not going to put one there. Really, I'm just going to put one there, and I'll put one there. I think those are the only two I want to put from the weekly. Yeah, it hits there and it almost hits there. I'm good with that. Actually, it looks like it hits the bottom of that. There's a lot of reason to believe this is going deeper into the $1. I'll say that much. So, yeah, don't want to spend too much time on GEVO. I don't want to take up too much of your valuable time. All right, LIACF. So I talked about this one, right? I definitely got it wrong. This is what highlights. Looks like it fell out of the cluster, right? Again, I'm not here to pretend I'm perfect or anything like that. I definitely assumed it was going to keep going down. It decided to go back into the cluster and just fly. It actually did really well in terms of the downtrend too. So this, I don't draw it too up. Nope, not on this. Sorry. I need the cross. I need this bad boy. There we go. So again, we're going to take it from the corner of the top of the green all the way to there. I'm going to hit it to there. Top of that, right? So we actually peek over it and we actually start to fly over it, but never really hold it. And I'm going to talk about the last couple of days as well real quick, but this downtrend, it wanted to break, just couldn't do it, right? So I do have eyes on LIACF. Like I said, I for sure, sorry to zoom in so hard like that, I for sure missed all of that, but right now, what am I looking at? So this was obviously the test of the 200 that never got over, right? It kind of started going horizontal until it got to the 8, and it basically bounced a little bit right there, right? Because it was either going to lose both or bounce. We talk about that, right? When there's a cluster, it's a really important point. You know, it looks really good, like I said, right? It gapped up. Oh, I clicked on the line. It gaps up to all the way right there, and then it drops to there. Day after, unfortunately, wasn't that good. By here, I start to get worried, but still, we're actually back in this 200 horizontal, right? I don't know if any of you were riding this up or not. I would be setting a stop loss maybe a little lower than the two. Yeah, you know what? I would probably set it at the bottom of that candle. Again, depending on where you bought, there's so many factors that would do it, right? But yeah, I would not want to lose this day, the 13th. I would not want to go lower than the open of the 13th. You see how many decimals I get on this one, but I don't get it on CEI. It really pisses me off. Okay, sorry, whatever. But yeah, I would set my loss here because again, if that loses, there's a lot of reason to believe you're coming down to 175. If that loses, you'll come here. This should be a good bounce point because there's at least 2 moving averages. I'll tell you though, in all honesty, I do not want to lose the 200. Okay, because look how long it's been since the 200, right? It pretty much was, oh no, it wasn't the whole downtrend, but it was this right here, right? And it saved the bounce until we lost it, right? So you can expect it to be a little hard to get over, expect it to be hard to get over. Maybe that third one would be a good one, right? So it would be beautiful to bounce off the 200. Otherwise, hopefully it doesn't go any lower than 175, right? But again, yeah, I definitely got this one wrong, and it really stresses why I say, dude, anything can happen in a horizontal cluster, right? And this one was 4 out of the 5. So, yeah. Last one is the saddest one, okay? Look, I like TMC, okay? There's so many stocks, especially from my early days of trading, that just have a little place in my heart, right? End of the day, they're all 3 letters, 4 letters, and you know, if you can be like that, it'll take so much emotion out and give you a lot of reason to stay away. I've been negative on TMC for a pretty long time, okay? And I don't remember when I added it. But I remember, you know, I might have added it back here because this wasn't an original. The reason that TMC was last is because this one wasn't one of the original energy and oil ones. There was a moment where I was watching, maybe even swinging, the break of the 100, hopefully running to here, okay? And since really that, maybe there was another moment right here, I've been pretty negative here. I've been seeing a lot of comments from a lot of really passionate people. And look, all we're seeing is a loss of a very, very tight cluster and nothing more than once you lost this line, this was the all-time low line. And then there was a 50 cent. Yeah, I know I saw it open at 50 cents today, right? 50 something. Was this the 50 cent day down here? 50, like, oh, right. It breaks your heart when this thing was, you know, not pretty high up in the $1 range not that long ago, right? So, man, not too much I need to say, right? It's like all the other, it basically becomes like CEI now. There's a lot of reason not to touch this thing. I've been saying not to touch it for a while, and look, I'm real sorry. I hope this didn't hurt you, but if you've been watching and you've been using these videos, which are not financial advice, obviously, you would have known not to put $1 in this for a pretty long time. So, you know, I repeat a lot of things, but again, they really are for reasons, though. I sincerely appreciate your time, whether you subscribe or not. I can't believe how much people are watching my stuff. So thank you so much. Hey, have a great one.